this computer. Okay, hey everyone. Welcome to the CAPV office hours on 20th July. I don't know, I got a feeling the last time that we're not going through all the usual overhead that we go in core CAPV. Anyway, in case someone wants to introduce themselves, feel free to go ahead. But otherwise, I'll just start with that channel. Alrighty. Okay, topics for discussion. So first one, I think that's, oh yeah, I should have probably added my name. Let's see. I'll do this. So Christian couldn't join, so I'll take his task as well. Okay, yeah, so first up. So I wasn't there before, but if I got it right, basically Yasin already brought it up like 2 or 3 times in office hours, the release date for CAPV 1.8. Let's say for CAPV 1.8, which is then based on CAPV 1.5. So basically what we would want to do is, or what the suggestion is basically that we release roughly 2 weeks after the core CAPV release. The core CAPV release is on 25th July. And the question is basically, I don't know, does anyone have blockers or the major concerns about the date, etc. The blockers that we already know is basically, of course, we have to wait for the core CAPV release. The Go 120 bump should be fine. I think we have to double check if we, no, I think, Yasin, sorry, Nadir, I think you know, right? I mean, we bumped GovMomi and we also bumped in test infra, and there should be nothing else. I circled back with Christian if there's like one other place, if there are other places for Go 120, but that shouldn't be a blocker anymore because it's might still have to do something, but it won't block us because we can bump now. Yeah. So basically, just a question for the group: does anyone else has anything problem with the date? I think otherwise they would just basically put it in the channel, and let's assume that's the plan, except something unfortunate happens. I'll look. I think Tuesday is probably the date for the CAPV release. I would just take the same, but 2 weeks later for CAPV. I have to look what the exact date is. Okay. Then next topic. So following. So we had a PR to bump the end-to-end test to test against 127. And we merged on main. And basically the question is if we should backport it to the release 1.7 branch. I think the main reason is basically just because I think 1.7 should have already supported 127, and I think that's also what core CAPV is doing. But we did this a bit later in CAPV, so those are only test changes. We wouldn't modify the code in any way. So yeah, just a question. I slightly lean towards backporting. I don't know if anyone has opinions or objections. Okay, sounds good. Just make a note on my side to actually do it. Good. Then next up, release process automation. So yeah, I'll just give a quick summary of what a proposal is. So current state of release automation in CAPV is basically the following. I mean, it's not really, it's partially automation. Basically, high-level steps are that a maintainer has to push a release tag, then the maintainer has to create a draft release, run a few things locally. For some reason, we have a step with push docker image, which we actually shouldn't do. Then there is a post submit automatically running after we push the tag, for which we have to wait. And then we have to publish the release manually. So basically, the proposal is to get rid of this step in the first phase of implementation, so that the only thing that someone has to do is basically first push a tag, then wait, and then click on a publish button somewhere in the GitHub UI. So that will be the state after the first phase, and then the second phase is basically to align to what other providers are doing. So the problem is basically that in this step that we already have today, this, where this post-submit job is publishing images, we publish directly to the production registry of Kubernetes. And what we should do instead is we should publish to the staging repository. and then use image promotion like other providers, where we basically promote from stage to production, and we have an HDM somewhere, and I think you're also getting assigned images automatically by using their tooling. Basically just want to share, and yeah, I don't know if anyone has any concerns about it, probably not. Should just make it easy to get releases out. Okay, so far so good. Yep. Just a question. Is that basically the same point, Nadia? Those two?
Yeah, pretty much. I just moved the issues and PRs around. So PRs first rather than issues.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan? We're basically just going to get all the PRs and see what we have.
Yeah. And maybe people can fill us in on context, since I'm returning and Stefan is new and Gab is returning, I guess. So
and maybe someone
if you know what some of these things are about.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Alrighty. Wait, that one was already, was it filtered the right way in the order you wanted to?
Sorted oldest first, yeah.
Oldest first. Oh, okay, good. Let's see. End-to-end IPAM. So I saw that you were asking Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like, I think, so from what I could tell, they left it because someone was going to set something up in CI, but I don't know what that thing was.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think it makes sense to ask on the PR, or should we basically try to ask directly?
Yeah, maybe let's ask in the PR.
Okay.
It might tie into some of those issues we've opened around, like
I don't know. Can you get us up to speed what the current state of this PR is?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I basically have no idea. I mean, I started a week ago to read up on CAPV and all, and it looks like we have a bunch of IPAM stuff working, but I don't know if that's just a test part. Probably, right? I mean, from title, it should be just a test part.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. One thing that confused us slightly by looking at our stuff is that we didn't see an IPAM provider deployed with the end-to-end config, but I guess that makes sense if the test isn't implemented yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what we get back there. So we definitely between me, Christian, and Kian, I don't know when we will get to it, but we definitely want to get an overview over what are the features we're supporting, what topologies are we supporting, what are we testing already, do some sort of comparison, and start a discussion around what should we improve, what can we improve, etc. So
yeah,
I think that would end up on that list, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Just note on my side. Alrighty. Okay, next up, allow other identity in VM machine. What will be sent in a single cluster? Wait, how old is it? Okay, January. That looks interesting. But okay, probably rebase errors, right?
Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
Like just from one vCenter to different and works just fine. Okay, so basically didn't get a review.
All right. Oh, is this from Deutsche Telekom?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think they were just asking basically someone who's on the review list. That's why Max is showing up here. But I can try to check. Yeah, Germany. Another German company.
I would like to vote for that feature as well. I don't know how I can do that, but supporting multiple vCenters in a single cluster.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really new. Just looking at the API, I would have just guessed that it's somehow possible already, but obviously it isn't.
It's possible with the caveat there is a single credential that works across the multiple vCenters, and that's very limiting. I mean, that's an assumption, and from what I can tell, the assumption comes from the fact that we save a reference to those credentials, or there is one vCenter that is kind of the lead vCenter in the vSphere cluster object. But that
I think you have basically 3 levels of credentials, right? You have the global credentials of the controller, then we have in the vSphere cluster, and I think then the identity ref. I mean, at least those 3 places. And that's probably the one that is missing, which is probably roughly, I don't know, on a machine template level or something.
Yeah, I think if we do this, we will need to highlight in the docs because there's a security implication of letting people loose of that. So people will, I mean, people should be locking down their vSphere machine templates anyway, to prevent arbitrary machines being created. But yeah,
but it's just a ref, right? Or what did you mean with locking down?
Well, it means, well, right now, the security model is you're locking down vSphere cluster and you can add machine deployments at will. Now you can add machine deployments to a different vCenter, right?
Okay,
so yeah, that's okay. But
documentation.
yeah, we need to, I think that will be an exclamation mark break and change in terms of security impact.
And for sure, the out-of-the-box CSI and CPI are going to have issues with that as well.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no question about that. I have no clue how that would be solved.
So it is, so from what I've tried so far, so I did try this in my environment with the same credentials working across different vCenters. Everything works except that limitation that it assumes that the same credentials would work. CSI, as long as you are able to set up topologies, it has clear, actually I would not call it clear, but it has sort of somewhat documented how you can have multiple credentials for CSI, and I was able to use it without issues. So
Okay, so I think this needs big docs about how to use it, because what I don't want is this goes in and then loads of questions. So we need detailed docs about how you actually get this working with CSI and CPI.
And I'm happy to provide that, provide what I've done. Because to be honest, those CSI docs themselves were not good enough. I had to go through their code to figure out where to provide the additional credentials. But yeah, I'm happy to provide that.
Okay.
Yeah. And CPI even has less docs. They're worse and they don't exist.
Oh yeah, I got by both of them.
Yeah, let's follow up with LeBron on that one as well. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess you'll do something about this and maybe show. Yeah, let's see. So you would basically
I'll summarize
first
that in a comment.
Yeah. I guess you post a comment with those docs, etc., and then we'll take a look and then we can continue basically with this PR and figure out what else we have to do or what we have to put into the CAPV docs themselves as part of this PR. Okay. To verify link clone. Link clone is great as link clone. Just looking at like what was the end state of this. Okay, too long ago. I'll trigger retests in any case. To be honest, you probably just should take a look at the PR.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually very small. I mean, it's just one file. At least in that sense, just a small one.
Just testing link clone. I guess that's kind of all right.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah. Okay, sorry, what are we doing? So we're creating a configuring cluster, we're creating a cluster, and then we're verifying stuff. Are we just creating it in a default configuration, or am I missing something?
Not sure.
Oh, maybe, sorry, maybe I should look here. Yeah, I mean, that's just this function, which looks a bit strange, but okay.
Oh, maybe the default is link clone. Probably is.
Probably
it makes it E2E faster.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, also basically we should take a look. I tried just during the next few days, just go over all PRs and look at the ones like this. And do a quick review. What I'm just thinking is basically if we basically just deploy the default cluster and then verify something, probably makes sense to combine this with some other tests so that we don't get like longer test runtime, additional cluster creation for just basically additional verification. But I don't have a good overview over what else we have. Okay. Need the cleaning of cluster identity secrets configure with default. And change the default behavior of secret deletion. By default, it behaves as it was, deleting the secrets reference from these three clusters. Set it false, it won't be doing it. So that's for your context. Okay. Just roughly read over it. So basically it comes down to should we actually support it? What should I do with the link? Probably. Yeah, here it is. Should you support it that when you reference the secret directly, that it's not deleted and can be reused across clusters? While I think the design is basically that you can only do that if you have a vSphere cluster identity.
Yeah. I see.
Ah, okay. Slightly wondering if you should just time it out, let it time out.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, either timeout or feedback. Yeah, let's see. We'll definitely skip over it for now, I think, except someone else has an opinion on it.
I would need to remind myself of the multi-tenancy proposal, like what we said we were doing.
Yeah, so the good thing is definitely, I was reading over our entire docs, and by the way, I opened a few PRs to just fix minor stuff. But that someone summarized it relatively nicely, this document here.
Yeah. Also want to check what I did.
That's one, by the way, here. Credentials via secret. This will create a one-on-one relationship between the vSphere cluster and secret. And secret cannot be used. So basically, that would change this one here.
And in terms of the upstream, did I get that PR merged?
No.
About multi-tenancy? I didn't.
I pinged you for 1 or 2 years, and then it just timed out.
Oops. Okay.
I think Fabrizio had it on for a while on the core CAPV meeting notes, like, hey, if someone wants to pick it up. But I'm not sure if it's still there.
All right.
So I would say, basically, if I got it right, we had some sort of consensus at some point. Oh, I think now it's good. Now it's gone. We had some consensus at some point about how this should look like. CAPV implemented. I think OpenStack as well, and I think I don't know about Azure and AWS, but I think they also did similar stuff, right?
AWS was the first.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know about the ordering, but
yeah, it was originally AWS proposal, and then others copied us.
Yeah. I think if you still want to pick it up, I mean, it was basically your PR, and I had a bunch of bits which are basically just copy, minor stuff. We could probably get it merged, but I'm not sure if it's at this point more like a recommendation versus an actual contract. I mean, I don't know if we can.
No,
what you have to do to
the contracts
make the
are
contract
slightly
at this
different.
point.
They're all a bit different. So
Yeah.
it will be recommendation. I will assign this issue to myself then. That 1803, and then Yeah.
That was the other PR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Already. 18. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good. I mean, we still have to decide if we want to change what we do in CAPV, right?
Yeah.
If we would want to merge this PR independent of what we merge in core CAPV. But okay, got it. CAPV's iDriver is in passing TS thumbprint. So that's probably a cluster template thing, right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, not
that's-
necessarily. Can we check the files changed?
Hmm?
So I think this is a mode.
Maybe let's look at the delta here.
Oh, is it just
I
the
don't know if
templates?
that- Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry, the delta in the templates.
Oh, that's easy. We should
Yeah.
just accept that then.
Yeah. By the way, Christian is not here, but greetings. When you're looking at later, we were hitting this issue like 1 or 2 weeks ago when we used CAPV for some other stuff. And because I had no idea about anything, I was just like, hey, do this kubectl edit and use insecure as an for instead of this fix. Yeah, let's take a look, but that looks straightforward. Good to know. Secret flag has been removed. The thumbprint will now be passed from the cluster API config file to the files. Yeah, I mean, I won't write anything on this PR. Feel free, whoever wants to like assign it to themselves or whatever.
I'm just gonna approve it. I'm just gonna GTO.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean just in general. So I'm not writing an update on every one of those PRs, but I will go over stuff tomorrow or something and look at the quick ones. Okay. I just open all of them. While you're doing, oh no, that's fine. Okay, provide clarification on this. Oh yeah, I think that's straightforward. I just didn't review it yet because I didn't have time to look at it.
Yeah, it was very straightforward. My only thing is I can't re-trigger that lint for some reason.
Let
So
me show you something.
I'm not sure if I can even merge it.
Let me show you something.
Interesting.
Clarification on syntax. After. Can we change anything about this title? It was changing Godoc, right? Godoc of
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fine as well. That should re-trigger Golang Silent. Usually. Yep.
Oh, okay, fine.
It is. But what you should be able to do is just click here on restart. But that didn't work for you. I mean, I don't have the button.
It was. I think because it had the logs had expired because it was open for so long. So I couldn't even re-trigger. The re-trigger was gone.
That could be the case. Yeah. Yeah. So didn't get. Yeah, that makes sense. I also have the same on my fork basically. So if I don't have any periodics of a periodic GitHub action yet, then I can't trigger it. But as soon as I have one single run, I can run it as often as I want. I saw it on the Trivi scan that we did. So probably same problem. Yeah, but yeah, retitling something helps. Okay, yeah, but that's basically also right. It was just Godoc everywhere, and oh, yeah. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it might still fail because.
Yeah, I'm just a bit confused by. I mean, nothing changed here, so it should also not fail. At least not in this line. Maybe somewhere else, but not here. But yeah, I mean, we'll check.
Yeah.
We can run locally. We can recommend something. Should be fine. Oh, that's your kind of thing, right?
What do you mean it's my kind of thing?
Content library. You explained something about content library to me.
Yeah. So, well, in the sense that, yeah, so it's used in the VM operator mode, that's for sure. Now, had some comments. So,
you already
so
or
it's had some
else?
internal stuff. No, I think it's internal people, and it was assigned to you. I mean, it's had some looks good to me. So I guess I don't know. I'm not sure what who filed it. So it's filed by us. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So those are both from VMware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both our part of the org.
I guess we just need to read it and do it. I guess I'm gonna have to read it, right? Probably. So,
I mean, if you want to keep any credibility as the supervisor maintainer, probably.
well, it's not about supervisor. This is about
Ah,
supporting the same
Okay,
thing
okay.
on non-supervisor.
one.
But
Mm.
if you need someone who knows how content library works, I guess, yeah.
I mean, at least give it a quick read and right.
And maybe Scott as your as your review as well.
For the content library, I can review this later today.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
perfect,
Thanks.
great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll definitely also read it, but I have absolutely no idea about vSphere at this point. So that won't
Yeah,
be very
I went
useful.
over it once before I started to go over it and put some comments, but I'll take a look at it later and review it.
Perfect. Deprecates the auto-configure functionality from the vSphere deployment zone API.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, let's see. And that's half the fun of it, right?
It's Saga.
Yeah. So auto-configure, I think, is basically that when you have those tags, that it just adds the tags if they are not there, right? So if you set
Okay.
auto-configure to true, it will just apply tags everywhere, and if you don't, they have to be there before.
Right.
But I don't really know the background behind, like, why is this not needed anymore or not useful anymore?
No, I don't understand it. I think we
But
need
we can. Oh wait,
Saga.
there's an issue for that.
Okay.
Traditional VI admins have process for taking mention. Tag resources out of band as a departure from this behavior from feedback received from our users. They do not want to expose to CAPV, but
Oops. I think this was my idea.
okay.
Oh well.
So I would say discuss it with yourself and let us know. I just don't know enough to have an opinion. Anyone else opinions?
I've
any
never enabled
opinions?
this in one of the environments that I allow, so yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
what we can always do is, like, if you have some sort of, okay, that makes sense to 80%, I mean, let's deprecate it and wait for feedback. And if we get pushback, we can still remove the deprecation.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, we have to take a look at the state of the PR and then potentially maybe close and open it ourselves or ask Sagar if you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably just a minor thing here with the defaulting. Okay. In domain selection logic is. Okay, that sounds like a minor optimization. I mean,
yeah, that's what it
probably,
looked like.
but like a low level one. Yeah, let's just review it, but it looks like it makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure if some nil handling or something makes a problem here, but no, that's, I mean, it's the same.
I'm going to leave this one to you.
It's fine. I need a few hours, but I'll look over all those smaller PRs. That's not a problem. Yeah, it should be fine, but we should think it through. Not that we're like changing an edge case or something. Let's maybe circle back to that one. Because this probably might be a bigger one. vGPU. Maybe let's start with, does anyone know the current state? So if I got it right, there was a proposal for vGPU, for GPUs in general, and we have 3 modes, which is PCI pass-through, vGPU, and was it GPU direct? And I got like that we definitely support PCI pass-through, and I didn't really have time to look at the other 2 and see if we support anything.
So Puneet is here, so
yeah,
I guess you can talk to this.
Yeah, so there's already a proposal and a PR, and I think I'll try to link that PR 1579. So that this one is mine, but then I think there is 1579 was something that was opened earlier, and so it's in the subject. Right there, 157. So what I did was I tried to make it with the version that I was working with, and it had some issues, obviously, and some things were not implemented yet. So I just completed the implementation based on the proposal that I saw, and use the PR, and I've tested it, but it's 162. Sorry, on the 1.6 branch, because that's what I had running at the time. And because of the version of Kubernetes that I was running for the management cluster, I couldn't go to the next release. But I think the original PR came with a 1.5 release, so I just made the changes to make it work with 1.6 and any other implementation that was left behind.
Yeah, so you'll need to reopen this on the main branch, like that. We won't be merging stuff into a release branch prior to it being on main.
Okay, got it. So I can.
Yeah, and then as far as the end-to-end test goes, we don't actually have any hardware at the moment to do the end-to-end test. So I think it's fine as is. I guess we just need to make it optional for now until we get some infrastructure to run it on.
Yes, so it is completely optional. If you don't specify any of those fields, nothing happens. It's completely a no.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the end-to-end test suite.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, and what was the other question? So yeah, I have tested it well enough in my environment, and if you're looking for some details on that, I can share it offline, or however you would like. Just to kind of get some confidence into the PR if that's needed.
I would say
yeah, I mean,
probably doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can put in the comments or in the description, but yeah, if it contains private data, then yeah, sure, it's in VMware Slack is fine.
Okay.
As well. But yeah, please rebase this on, like reopen the PR on the main branch.
Okay, so do I leave this open and create a separate one on main, or just close this one and then
I think probably
close this one.
I think you will need to close this one and then reopen it.
Yeah. Yeah. So in general, yeah, it's just easier with GitHub. I think theoretically here's an edit button and you can change the base branch, but that never really worked out for me. What we definitely can do is we can't merge another PR on main and then merge this one on 6. We will basically merge the one on main, and then I don't really know about the backport policies in CAPV at this point, so I don't have an opinion on backporting.
Okay.
But we definitely have to merge on main first. That's definitely an important point.
Do you need this in the 1.6 branch?
For the version of Kubernetes that I'm running, yes.
Okay, right. So yeah, we will put it on main. Depending on when it gets merged, backport to 1.7.1.6.
Mm-hmm.
We can agree to doing that, and then if it merges a bit later, given what Stefan was saying earlier in the meeting, we'll also need to backport to the 1.8 branch.
Okay, sounds good. And one additional question, and if I wanted to provide some documentation on this, how would you recommend I go about doing that?
Markdown, yeah, markdown in docs, and then at some point we will probably do something like we are doing with the other providers where we publish a book.
Okay.
So if you want to look at either the cluster API main book or the AWS one or OpenStack.
Yeah, but I think for the purpose of your PR, we don't have to go as far as the book, because we'll just migrate it then when we have to.
Yeah.
But just because I was reading all of this documentation, I really liked what we have for GPU PCI pass-through.
We do?
Yeah, we have documentation for PCI pass-through. So maybe take a look at this one and see if something similar makes sense for your case as well. I don't really know enough about vGPU, but basically it's a bit of context and then a few screenshots on how the stuff works or what you have to do before to, yeah. I mean, maybe take a look and see if that's a good.
Yeah, especially getting the NVIDIA GPU operator running, you know, like everyone needs help with that, I think. So yeah, like give a description of an end-to-end scenario and how you get there.
For now, I was not able to test the GPU operator running part in my environment due to some driver mismatch issues, but I was able to verify that the GPU device was added to the VMs that were created using CAPV. So the device was usable. I could test. I've been using the device plugin that predates the GPU operator, and verify that certainly in no time, but the GPU operator is bringing some challenges for me right now.
Maybe a quick, easy way to do that is if you use our upstream Ubuntu 2204 images, there shouldn't be any driver issues. See it, Scott?
So the 22, sorry, the
We have
driver.
Ubuntu 22.04.
No, I
0.04.
that is the concern because the NVIDIA drivers that I'm referring to are for vGPU. So the NVIDIA AI Enterprise on the
Right, yeah.
SXI, and that the same version not being available for the guest. So which means I have to install the NVIDIA AI Enterprise on my ESXi with a different version. I mean, those kind of challenges.
Yeah, fine. All right.
Okay, so I'll give it a shot. I'll probably keep open a separate PR for documentation. But yeah, for now I'll try to put this on me. Thank you.
Yep, sounds good. So just for me that I got it right. So basically, your PR is this one. We already have this one, and we don't have this one yet, right? Just because I don't know about a second case. I know it's nothing. It has nothing to do with your PR. But
yeah. So my
GPU Direct is using remote DMA between. So you like, I guess the closest example would be Amazon Elastic GPU.
Okay.
So we would need another set of hardware to test that.
Yeah, I'm more like trying to get an overview
Yeah.
or like the current state of the implementation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Next one. Yeah, that's not one of the ones that I'll take a quick look at.
That one's in progress though. I think Christian's
Yeah.
left a load of good comments there, so I think that one's in good shape.
Okay, then we have this one. I think that's fine. Let's just see that. I mean, it's my PR. Let's just see that we get.
Yeah, I don't know
from-
about that last one.
I mean, that all sounds good to you, right? Except, I mean, the last one is
Yeah.
basically something that we should clarify.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of other questions that I want to ask Gar and Yassine. I'll put it on this list as well. And once I get an answer there, I'll update here and then we can move ahead. But let's keep it open until then. But I mean, what definitely makes sense is to just drop this outdated document, right? It doesn't make sense for historical purposes or something to keep it. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a new one. That's what you're talking about. What we were talking about before. Just for you, Nadir, I think I can probably unwrap it later. So I'm pretty sure that my core CAPV stuff, one is merged and the cherry pick, I think I merged it later and then I removed to replace. And
Okay.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, and I don't know if you had time to take a look, but basically that's how it would look like, the generated stuff. So
yeah, standard.
Slightly nicer than the one that we had before, but the same as in core CAPV. Yeah. So it should be okay. What we don't have anymore is like this table where you can see what the CAPV image version is, but I think it's not really necessary. You can look in the YAML if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also just a small one. We don't really have to talk about it. It's just IntelliJ was showing me a warning.
Yeah, I think we're good. Like if it's just been filed in the last
Oh
hour,
yeah.
that's
Absolutely, you don't have to talk about
it. Was the ones that were like opened last year and like we haven't done anything with, which were.
Okay, so we have this one left. I did relook at the PR, but I know that have you also been in that meeting, Nadir?
No, but I think Ricardo's turning this into a proposal, right? For like
yes. So basically, we have a
stuff.
first round of. Let's take a look at the Google Doc before we circle this in a wider circulation.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah.
So watch this space for anyone who watches this, and it isn't from VMware. We will get a doc out. So
yeah, we will service this definitely. I'm pretty sure it's related to the doc. Yeah, I mean, do you know anything about it, Nadir, or basically just roughly the title?
most of the time, I had a quick browse of over the Google Doc.
Okay. Yeah, then let's
I
see
don't
what
really have the
they're,
context of what
yeah.
it's for in terms of what the I mean, I get the use case. It seems reasonable in some ways, but yeah.
Yeah, let's see what where we get there,
Yeah.
and then once we have a bit of a better state, we'll bring this here up. Okay, so those were all the PRs. Do you want to continue with all the issues?
I think that's enough for today.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Also, I was positively surprised that we don't really have that many issues, and I think like 10 or 20 of them were just created in the last week.
Yeah.
So it's not super bad. We can I would definitely put it on our agenda for the next time, just that we continuously take a look at that stuff. But that sounds reasonable. Yeah.
I want to spend some time, if possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Mind asking a couple of general questions, CAPV and cluster API in general. Is that okay?
Fine for me.
Okay, so one of the questions I had was for the nodes that are created using CAPV and using link clone, they don't seem to be motion. Is that expected?
So for just upfront, for all the like mostly VSphere related stuff, I will defer all of that to Nadir. I'm more like the core CAPV guy.
I don't know. I would have, if any of those restrictions are going to be DRS based, then nothing to do with CAPV. I would imagine.
They're not DRS based, at least in my environment. I was able to move the rest of the VMs except the ones that I created using CAPV. And I wasn't quite sure what was the case. And these are also non-GPU VMs. So
could you, I would open, and it's because we don't do a lot of testing with link clones, like downstream as well. So I would, we probably need to look at VPXD logs or what the VMX, if there's any difference in the VMX settings between them.
Okay.
Maybe there's some slight difference.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know of a specific blocker, so we're probably missing some VMX. Something needs to be added that we're missing. So.
Okay, sounds good. So that was one. The other question I had was with respect to nodes. So I keep hearing about VM service.
Yes.
And is that something that CAPV is in general moving towards, or are we going to continue to support the way we're doing stuff now, directly using vMommy, and then that remains a separate way to do?
So we have the vMommy. We have users using it who are not VMware customers. Like, we would have to get community consent to remove it. So I don't. That's unrealistic.
I think we don't even have VMware consent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't see the vMommy going away anytime soon. My only ask is that given we have both VM operator APIs and non-VM operator APIs, that we try and keep them in sync as much as possible. So if we add, like there's the PR for the guest shutdown that was added to the vMommy, we're also adding it to the VM operator API. So it's consistent on both sides. So no, I don't, it's not, the vMommy is not going to go away anytime soon.
Just a question, just because I'm curious, what is the state of the GPU support thing? I guess the current implementations we have are probably like for the vMommy side, I guess.
I think vGPU is supported in VM operator already, I believe. So I assume it's already there. If it isn't, we might.
So it would be a matter of also, taking a look, of course, at a supervisor vSphere machine CRD and maybe opening an issue to also pass through the configuration.
No, I think we already support it in
okay.
CAPV for VM service. I think that was my understanding, which is why I haven't commented on the VGP saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, can we have this?" But I could be wrong.
The screen
What I
is
think
still
there
shared.
isn't there is PCI pass-through is not yet supported in VM service. So therefore it's not in the vSphere machine either.
Wait, there's no dependency between PCI pass-through and vGPU, right? Those are independent fields.
Those are completely different, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And PCI pass-through, we don't have it because it might not be supported there, but vGPU, your guess is that we might already support it.
We do.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We do.
Oh yeah, no, we don't care because VM service is a completely different mode of operation. In VM service, you have a VM class, which is a VM operator construct.
Mhm.
Therefore, you don't need to do anything on the.
Okay. So you create a VM class somewhere else, and then here you just say, "Oh, I want to use this class," and that's the way you get GPU support.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know for a bunch of features, probably going forward.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
VM operator must reconcile that, right? The vGPU device edition.
Yes.
And that it already does.
Yes.
Okay. And so I think the last question I have is there a way to bring your own node and make it part of a cluster API cluster? And this is outside of CAPV now. So cluster API in general, is it okay to bring a node and add it to a cluster API cluster in an automated fashion versus doing stuff manually?
Oh, I don't. There were some projects around that, but
Bring
I
your
don't
own
know what.
host, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the status of any of them are.
I think for bring your own host, you can ask VMware internally, but my impression is that it's not very active anymore, is maybe the right phrasing. I'm not really sure about the state of the ecosystem, basically. There.
Yeah,
And there were some other ones, right? It wasn't just that. There was a
I think there were-
WeaveWorks one.
There were definitely like a bunch of projects, and I think at some point they talked about just convert. I mean, a few of them to converge. There are probably a bunch more on top of that. But I think we are also getting into the part where you basically say, I want to have a cluster which which uses multiple providers at the same time. Potentially. I mean, if you want to do it all in CAPI and then you have, okay, it really depends. So I think what you can do is if you have another way to create nodes basically, and you just join them into a cluster API cluster, but you don't want cluster API to have anything to do with your other nodes, that probably just works because, I mean, I'm guessing a bit, but I think cluster API will just ignore them. It won't delete them or anything. They're probably just tolerated. But if you want to bring those other nodes into your cluster API cluster with some cluster API automation around it, then you probably need some sort of provider for it. And I'm not really sure if we support it today that you create a bunch of nodes with the CAPV provider and then a bunch of other nodes with some other provider and put them all in the same cluster. There was some talk around it. It's not really well supported probably. Could be that works for some providers.
Okay, so the reason I brought that up, or I was thinking about in that direction, was CAPV VM specs are limited in what they can do. vGPU was just one example, the logical approach is to typically just add the API to support that. But that's the slower process. If there is a way to use like VM operator to get a node, because it probably supports more customization of the VM, then and attach it to a cluster API cluster. I don't know. Maybe that's just trying to circumvent the problem or work around it. But yeah.
I mean, what could be a fun project is
But if you're
basically-
using a VM class, you can just create a CAPV cluster with a VM service creating the VMs, and you don't need to bring your own host then. So that's another way to do it.
So you're saying basically run CAPV in a supervised mode, right? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played around with that very much, and I don't know.
I think we should document that how you can do that. I think that would be a good thing because that might get more interest in using it outside of just TKG service.
But just that I get right, so Nadia, I mean, we mainly use like the supervisor mode as part of TKGS on a supervisor, but it doesn't actually have to run on a supervisor.
Shouldn't do, no.
So it's just basically
talk
the
to
actual dependency
the-
is like you need a VM operator. That's the actual thing that you depend on.
Yeah, maybe for the.
We should do some exploration around it.
Yeah, we should find a way to run it. Like,
Another
you know.
thought I had was basically what would be kind of funny is if you can have a cluster which basically uses CAPV in both modes at the same time. So like a mixed provider, but it's actually just CAPV all the time.
I mean, that's also interesting, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that could be interesting.
So just
Yeah,
to
I'm not against doing that.
Yes, sorry.
Just to clarify what you were saying about documenting that approach, you were referring to how to use CAPV with the supervisor enabled?
No, I had to use CAPV with VM operator without a supervisor cluster.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I didn't find, I haven't tried that. So it'd be interesting to see how that works.
I mean, I guess we're probably going to have to do something like that for end-to-end testing anyway. Right, so
I mean, if you can give us the supervisor.
I mean, yeah, that's one way, but yeah. But it's going to be painfully slow in some aspects.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, we should also have a faster stand-up thing
Yes.
where you can run it in a kind, where you can run everything you need in kind.
You mean your management cluster in kind, basically, right? I mean your
Even just
CAPV
for
on a kind
development
management cluster in the VM operator mode, and then but it still creates the work cluster
with VM operator
clusters
running.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So you're just replacing your supervised management cluster for a kind cluster, but it's still running in that mode that it would also run the supervised, the VM operator mode.
yeah, maybe not all of it. So maybe things like power virtualization won't be there.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
your
tricky.
workload clusters will probably still more look like normal CAPV non-supervisor ones. So you don't need everything. Because I think some of the dependencies get a bit annoying around like NSX and stuff, which you're not going to have in your local dev environment.
Yeah,
So maybe some minimalist VM operator thing might be interesting.
Yeah, I think the whole end-to-end this topic is definitely something that we have to, I don't know, get an overview and discuss what you want to do.
Yeah.
We'll make a plan. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
No, that was all from my side. Thanks for the time.
Just think if I had some other questions, probably not. No, it should be good. I think we covered them. Okay, perfect. Good. Then thanks, everyone. You got like, I don't know, 4 minutes back. Nice day. Have a nice day again. We get until in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.